So you're thinking of moving to San Francisco, but you're unsure where to start, and how do you decide where to live? With 89 different neighborhoods and factors like commute, schools, views, weather, walkability, or other things to do in the area, it can be challenging to choose the right one. After living in the Bay Area for over 20 years and helping over 1,000 people buy and sell homes in San Francisco, I wanted to go back over the last 2 decades and look at the top questions that I've been asked. I'll answer all of them in one video so that you can get 20 years of living in San Francisco advice in less than 20 minutes. This is gonna be the ultimate guide to moving to and living in San Francisco. Starting with the biggest question, where should I live in San Francisco? There's so many great places to live in San Francisco, and it depends on so many different factors that really come down to your lifestyle and your budget. You probably have a specific budget in mind. Unfortunately, not all of us can afford to live in the neighborhood that we most desire, in the huge home that we wish to buy. Some buyers are going to choose to live in a condo instead of a single family home in order to be in a neighborhood that might be a bit more expensive. Condos are by far more affordable than single family homes. Do you like to walk to restaurants and shops? In San Francisco, you're gonna pay about a 20% premium for walkability. So if this is something that's important to you, it's gonna cost you more than a pretty penny. Do you work in tech and you wanna be close to the shuttle stops and have easy access to a commute or to Silicon Valley? Or do you have or are planning to have kids and want to be close to specific schools, whether public or private? Do you work from home, need to commute, or want to live near the water? Are you looking for great views? Do you care about the fog, weather, or walkability? For example, if you're someone who needs to work downtown, I would recommend a few different neighborhoods that vary in many ways. So if you want an easy commute and you're okay with being in more of an urban environment, neighborhoods like South Beach, Mission Bay, and South of Market are great options. These areas are all very convenient to downtown, and you can walk or bike or take a quick muni ride. They tend to have newer condos and apartments, so you'll get amenities like gyms, roof decks. The weather is also going to be a bit sunnier than some other parts of the city, but the trade-off is that you don't get quite the same neighborhood feel or charm as some other areas in San Francisco. If you want a neighborhood with a bit more character, I'd look into places like Pacific Heights, Russian Hill, Hayes Valley, Potrero Hill, the Castro, or Noe Valley. These are still easy commutes to downtown on Muni, but you'll be coming home to colorful Victorians and Edwardians mixed with a few modern homes and tons of local shops and restaurants. With Potrero Hill, Noe, Castro, and Hayes Valley in particular, you're gonna get the bonus of some really great weather. But if you're someone who maybe wants to be in more of a residential feel while still being able to quickly get downtown on public transit, Forest Hill, West Portal, the Richmond, maybe Mission Terrace are good ones to look at. They're gonna be a bit further out, but you're gonna be able to stretch your budget a little further and possibly get a larger single family home. If schools are a major factor for you and you wanna be in the best public school district, neighborhoods like Clarendon Heights, West Portal, and Mira Loma are gonna be great options. For more urban feel and close to private schools, the majority of the private high schools are going to be concentrated on the north side of town. So looking at areas like Pacific Heights, Presidio Heights, Lake Street, or the Marina are all going to be great options. There are also good private K-8s there, with several others concentrated around the center part of the city, making Noe Valley a really popular choice for families with young kids. Now that we know all about our neighborhoods, and don't worry, we have videos on all of them, but the next big question everybody asks is about the weather. Is it foggy? Is it sunny? Or is it just like the rest of California, super warm? Spoiler, no. One of the most fascinating things about San Francisco is the incredible variation in weather and microclimates from one neighborhood to the next. You can literally drive for 10 minutes and feel like you need a wardrobe change, which is why in San Francisco, we always dress in layers. The biggest factor is going to be fog mixed with some wind, depending on the neighborhood. What a lot of people don't realize is that the fogginess impacts each part of the city in a different way. In general, the neighborhoods that are closest to the ocean, like the Sunset and the Richmond districts, they're gonna tend to be foggier and colder. The fog is gonna roll off the ocean and it can hang around for days. But the further east you go, the better the weather gets. Even the central part of San Francisco, neighborhoods like Noe Valley and the Mission are quite sunny and warm, but the best weather in the city is going to probably be in South Beach, where it can literally be 10 to 15 degrees warmer and sunny than some other parts of the city. There's lots of little microclimates in San Francisco. To help, we created a microclimate map on our website. Some of those micro pockets seem to actually defy all the rules. For buyers, it's going to be really important to consider their weather preferences and factor that into the neighborhood choices. If you love warm, sunny weather, you might focus your search on the central to eastern parts of the city. Such areas are going to be the Mission, Noe Valley, Bernal Heights, Potrero Hill, Soma, and South Beach areas. If you don't mind the fog and cooler temperatures, then the Sunset and the Richmond could be great fits, and you're going to get a little bit more for your money. Even within a neighborhood, the weather can vary block by block. In Noe Valley, for example, the further you get up the hill, the less sun and the more wind that you're going to get. My advice is always visit the neighborhoods that you're considering at different times of day in different weather conditions. See how the fog moves in and out, feel the temperature differences, and get a sense of where you feel the most comfortable. Keep in mind that the best weather month in San Francisco is September, so that can be a little misleading because every neighborhood is going to be really warm and sunny. That's when we most frequently get our heat wave, and very occasionally I've seen temperatures in the high 90s, but for us, a very hot day just means breaking 80 degrees. Summers are always our foggiest months. You'll hear the words June gloom tossed around quite a bit. On to the next big question. What can I actually get for my money in terms of housing options? Let's get one thing straight. The median home price in San Francisco is just over $1.7 million, so it's not the most affordable place on the planet. Still, if we break that down by neighborhood, you're going to see that some areas are definitely more affordable than others. The most affordable housing in San Francisco is going to be on the southwest and eastern perimeters of the city. But if you're looking to buy a home under the median price, then typically you're going to be looking in the outer Sunset, outer Richmond, or in areas around the Excelsior in places like Portola or Mission Terrace. For a similar budget, you can find a smaller 2-bedroom condo in some highly sought after locations with sun and walkability. Such areas are going to include areas in and around Noe Valley, Pacific Heights, Cole Valley, and Russian Hill. Single family homes in these neighborhoods will certainly run you a higher premium. In general, you can bank on spending an average of $1,400 to $1,500 a square foot, and topping out in the most expensive neighborhoods in the most expensive homes in areas like Pac Heights, sometimes over $2,000 a square foot. Typically, a good budget for a good size home in these locations is between $4 and $6 million, but it definitely goes up from there. The premium to live here is primarily based on weather, walkability, and in some cases, views. If you're enjoying this insider advice on living in San Francisco, make sure you smash that subscribe button so I can keep making videos like this one. The next question is all about the home types. What if I want an older historic home with charm? And how about if I want something newer, or if I want a condo or single family home? Where should I look? If you love that classic historic charm, Victorian and Edwardian homes are the hallmark of the city. They were built in the late 18 to early 1900s, and they feature intricate details like ceiling medallions, wainscoting, high cove ceilings, and lots of old world charm. Many of these homes have been thoughtfully updated and renovated. Some of the renovations have done a better job than others at keeping original details, while others have really stripped down everything on the inside and made it super modern while keeping the original historic feel only on the exterior. You'll find stunning examples of Victorians and Edwardians in neighborhoods throughout a lot of the city, but a few areas worth mentioning are Pacific Heights, Noe Valley, and of course, Alamo Square, which is home of the famous Painted Ladies. Sprinkled among many of these homes, it's not unusual to find a really modern new build. Most Victorian and Edwardian homes are protected as they're going to be on a historical list, so getting a permit to tear down the facade of one of those homes is never going to happen. But some of the non-historical homes have been torn down and replaced with modern steel glass homes built between the classic architecture. It's kind of a cool juxtaposition. But if old world charm is not your thing and you find yourself wanting to be surrounded by sleek, modern high-rises, South Beach and Mission Bay are going to be great spots for you to check out. Here you're going to find condo buildings with floor-to-ceiling windows, roof decks, gyms, and a 24-hour doorman. Looking for a single-family home on a tighter budget? Check out neighborhoods like Glen Park, Bernal Heights, Miraloma Park. They're all going to offer a nice mix of styles from different eras. You're going to see everything from 1920s bungalows to mid-century modern homes to newer construction. And of course, if you want a truly iconic San Francisco experience, nothing beats a classic marina-style home, which can be found, of course, in the marina, but also in many other parts of the city like the Sunset and the Outer Richmond. One of my favorite architectural styles is the Spanish Mediterranean homes that are often spotted in Forest Hill and St. Francis Wood, but are also sprinkled throughout the city. The great thing about San Francisco real estate is the diversity, not just between the 89 different neighborhoods, but also within them, from classic Victorians to modern new construction to hilltop homes with sprawling views to conversion lofts. The key is really focusing on your lifestyle priorities, what kind of home fits in your style, budget, how you want to spend your time, and where you're going to work. Speaking of work, commute times and proximity to your office is going to be a huge factor in the Bay Area. Of course, the city is famous for being the heart of tech with companies like Salesforce, Google, X, Uber, and countless startups calling San Francisco home. SoMa, downtown, Mission Bay, and South Beach neighborhoods in particular have become the hubs for tech, with lots of new office developments and high-rise condos going up to meet the demand. But tech is by far the only game in town. Healthcare is also a major employer. UCSF is here and is a world-renowned medical institution. The financial district is home to many of the biggest names in banking and financing. And of course, we have a thriving tourism and hospitality industry with San Francisco attracting visitors from all over the world. In recent years, we've also seen a lot of growth in creative fields like design, architecture, and advertising. Neighborhoods like the Mission and Potrero Hill have become hotspots for creative agencies and design firms. With the rise of remote work, we're seeing even more flexibility where people can live in relation to their jobs. Many of my clients are now able to prioritize things like space, outdoor access, or affordability over proximity to the office. That being said, if you're going to be commuting, it's important that you factor housing into your decision. If you're working in Silicon Valley, for example, you might want to focus your search on neighborhoods with easy access to 101 or 280 or near a Caltrain station. If you're working downtown, neighborhoods along the BART line with good access to the bus or Muni might also be a priority. The key is to understand your priorities and find out the neighborhood and the home that best fits those needs. Do you value a short commute over square footage? Unlike a lot of major cities, you don't necessarily need a car to get around in San Francisco. It's special because of its walkability and transit-friendly nature. Neighborhoods like Pacific Heights, the Marina, Cow Hollow, Hayes Valley, North Beach, Inner Sunset, Cole Valley, Noe Valley are all incredibly walkable. There's tons of restaurants, shops, and amenities all within easy reach. You can pretty much do all of your errands and socializing on foot. San Francisco has an extensive public transit system for getting around the city. The BART and Muni Transit can get you to almost any part of the city, and there's also a robust bus network. A lot of my clients who work downtown or in SoMa will choose a neighborhood along the BART line or Muni line for easy commute. Even neighborhoods that are a bit further out, like the Richmond or the Sunset, are still pretty transit accessible. The N. Judah Muni line, for example, runs all the way from Ocean Beach through the Sunset and Cole Valley into downtown. Of course, like any city, there are some areas that are more car dependent, particularly as you get further out from the center. But even then, a lot of people choose to Uber or now Waymo their way around rather than own a car. With the rise of remote work, we're seeing even more people prioritize walkability and neighborhood amenities over commute times. If you only need to go to the office a couple times a week, you might be willing to trade a slightly longer train ride for a home with a more affordable price tag with a bit more space. Ultimately, it's going to be about understanding your own lifestyle and your own priorities. Do you value being able to walk to your favorite coffee shop or restaurant? Is an easy commute more important? Do you need a car for weekend trips out of the city? So if living near all the best things to do is a priority, One of the best things about living in San Francisco is that you're never far from world-class dining, stunning outdoor spaces, and a thriving arts and cultural scene. No matter what neighborhood you choose, you're going to have access to some of the best experiences that the city has to offer. For foodies, San Francisco is an absolute paradise. The city is packed full of Michelin star restaurants. Some of the best areas for restaurants are going to be the Marina, Pacific Heights, and the Mission, but the city is full of tons of phenomenal restaurants to choose from. If you love the outdoors, San Francisco has a lot to offer. Golden Gate Park, which is actually bigger than Central Park in New York City, offers miles of trails, gardens, and attractions like the California Academy of Sciences and the DeYoung Museum. Also, we have Land's End and Christie Field, which provide stunning waterfront hikes with views of the Golden Gate Bridge. You can live near the beaches in the Richmond or the Sunset, or near all the countless things to do in the outdoors in the Richmond, Presidio, Seacliff, Pacific Heights, Cow Hollow, and the Marina. Neighborhoods like Bernal Heights, Dolores Heights, Corona Heights, Russian Hill, and Glen Park offer hidden stairways and hilltop parks with panoramic city views, and the views are hard to beat. For arts and culture, the options are endless. The Soma neighborhood is home to the world-renowned museums like SF MoMA and the Museum of African Diaspora. The City Civic Center has a stunning city hall and the Opera House and the Symphony. The Mission and Dogpatch are hubs for murals and street art. And pretty much every neighborhood has its own unique festivals and cultural events throughout the year, from the Cherry Blossom Festival in Japantown to Dia de los Muertos celebration in the Mission. San Francisco also has a ton of street festivals that are really unique to San Francisco, like SantaCon, where thousands of residents get dressed up like Santa Claus and do a pub crawl through the city. And also Beta Breakers is a run through the city that ends on Ocean Beach, where people end up dressed up, build a float, often with kegs attached, and run through the park. And there's musical acts and all kinds of festivities that litter the city to play while running. Neighborhoods like the Richmond and the Sunset give you easy access to Golden Gate Park and Ocean Beach, while still offering a ton of walkability within the neighborhood and relatively easy access to downtown. This all shows that you don't have to choose between being close to nature or close to the action. You can have both. And with the city being only 7 miles by 7 miles, pretty much everything is accessible. It's just a matter of prioritizing what matters most to you. If you're a diehard foodie, the Marina or the Mission might be your perfect spot. If you can't live a day without a dose of nature, the Richmond or the Sunset could be calling your name. As you can see, there's lots of factors that go into finding a perfect home in San Francisco. So if you want this all broken down into an easy to understand guide, you can download it for free using the link in the description. It's my San Francisco neighborhood guide, which I made after living here for 20 years. You can find it below. So that's been our ultimate guide to moving to San Francisco. I'd love to know if any of this was completely new or if it was only realized after watching this video. Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, we're putting out videos like this every single week about moving and living here in San Francisco. So hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the next video. If you made it to this point and you still want help finding your next home in San Francisco, make sure that you email us at hello@ruthkrishnan.com or click the link in the description below and leave us a message to get started. In San Francisco, the average home buyer writes 5 to 8 offers, but we rarely write more than 2. It's not an accident that 86% of our buyers get into contract on the first or second offer. Also, 25% of homes in San Francisco are sold off market, meaning they never hit the public market. So working with a team like mine that does a ton of business is key to you getting to see your next home before someone else buys it. Also, as the #2 ranked team out of over 5,000 agents in San Francisco, if you want access to those homes and want the sellers to actually accept your offer, we can help you win your next home. Just contact us using the information below. But before you go, if you liked this video and would love to go into a more in-depth ranking of the best and worst neighborhoods in San Francisco, then you need to watch this video next, where I break down and rank the top neighborhoods in San Francisco. So make sure you watch it by clicking here.